We're talking everything fast fat loss.
Coffee's actually too hot to hold. Just like me.
It is turning into Christmas Day up in here. Oh no. Whisk, 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 whisk. Never know how to start a YouTube video. It always feels weird to be like, welcome, hi. And like, I always want to say good morning, but you might not be watching it in the morning. It's the morning as I make this, but that doesn't mean it's the morning for you. However, I have had quite a few new subscribers. So welcome, 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 welcome if you're new here. Welcome if you're coming on back. It's lovely to have you, and buckle on up because we are going to be chatting everything fast. Pippin's on the move if you hear click, click, clapping. We're talking everything fast fat loss today because of course you want to lose fat fast. Who doesn't? I know that you wanted your dream bod yesterday. Like, fat loss is hard and it feels like it takes a long time because it can take a long time depending on, Pip, if you could just sit quietly, that'd be great. Depending on how much weight you want to lose, it can take a long time, unfortunately. But we'll look at some ways that we can speed that up for you and some of the best ways to go about losing fat efficiently. With that said, the best approach to fat loss, and you're not going to want to hear this, is one that is going to give you sustainable results. So it doesn't mean the diet is sustainable because you're not meant to be in a calorie deficit your whole entire life. Diets aren't meant to be long term, but it does mean that you can lose weight in a way that, I'm trying a new way of doing my foundation. I don't know if I like it or not. I basically dot the foundation around, spritz on some setting spray, and then blend it in. But I don't think I like this way. I think I just go a bit too heavy with the setting spray. Anyhow, you want to lose fat and weight in a way that you are actually going to be able to keep it off, because what is the point? Like, say, I get sometimes that you want to lose weight quickly for an event that's coming up or a holiday, and we'll get onto that later on. But most people, I'm imagining, don't want to put that weight back on. If they wanted to slim down in the first place, it's because they probably want to look a little bit different and be in a slightly smaller body. So we don't want you losing fat really, really fast, but then to just gain it all, to just gain it all back again. I really need to get a new beauty blender. This one is awful. So just off the bat, I just wanted to highlight that the best way, and I'll get onto my top tips for effective fat loss later on in the video, but the best way is to do it in a way that you're going to be able to stick to it for however many weeks, months you may need to. Appreciate that it may take a little bit of time, and do it in a way that when you finish the diet, you don't immediately go back because you've restricted yourself so much. You don't immediately go back to the way you were eating and put all that weight back on. You want to sort of learn healthy habits along the way to set yourself up for staying lean. So for me, for example, I lost, a couple of years ago now, I was about 2 stone overweight. I lost 2 stone in around about 12 weeks, I'm saying. So I did do it pretty quick, but I stuck to it. I was fucking on it. And then the only reason I've ever gained that weight back is because I've intentionally bulked and then I've lost it again. So my typical weight stays the same unless I have been in a bulk. And usually, I mean, it stays around the same. It does fluctuate a little bit. So I'll have phases where I go into a little bit of a diet, but it's not very long term. It's not very extreme. And just to bring myself back down. And then there's phases when, like, maybe over the summer, I go out a little bit more, I eat a little bit more, the weight goes up a tiny bit. It's that you're gonna always have that sort of natural cycle somewhat, but obviously if you're in a much larger body than you want to be in right now, and you've got quite a lot of weight to lose, that's kind of where the proper diet comes in. I am at the end of, very nearly at the end of my own fat loss phase, so I will show you like the meals and things I've been eating, what I've been doing. It's kind of like a little fat loss diary we've got going on here. So yeah, I'm 6 kilos down, which is like 12 pounds. So nearly a stone down, I think. I'm not very good with the conversion. I'm nearly a stone down in 2 months. So the weight is slower for me. Obviously I just said, like, years ago, I lost 2 stone in about 12 weeks. The more you do it, and the more kind of like, the reason I've bulked is to build muscle. So because I'm holding more muscle now, that's why my fat loss will be slower. Whereas before there was just more fat on my body, so there was more fat to go. So the more you kind of diet and improve your muscle mass, you can expect slightly slower results. But if this is your first time around, your first rodeo, you should see slightly speedier fat loss if you're able to stick to it. I had to really make sure when I started, when I put my microphone on my top, because if you watch the last video I did on my like 10K running journey and getting into running, I don't know what, it must have been the jumper I was wearing, but I filmed so much. Like I filmed me getting ready, I filmed me painting my bookcase, all with this microphone attached to my jumper. Little did I know that the sound was just horrific. So I had to like dub over everything I've been talking about, and I'd said some really good stuff and it was so annoying. So just before I started recording now, I was like, I need to make sure that this top is not doing me dirty. Today, what have we got going on? As I said, we're in our fat loss phase. So I'm eating around about 500 calorie deficit right now, which is putting me about just over 1600 calories. I did dip it down for a little bit because my weight loss had slowed. That was a mistake. I definitely didn't take my own advice and slightly panicked. But yeah, I went down to about 1500 calories, and that 100 calorie difference wasn't good for me. I just felt so fatigued, like my workouts were going really badly. I kept wanting to binge and I was like, this is not the one. So I've brought it back up, and actually I've been seeing some really good results on that. I need to film for Instagram. I need to talk to you guys about this. I was gonna say the thing I'm filming for Instagram is to share my brand new freebie, which I cannot believe I am giving away for free. It's quite mad. So, and it will absolutely help you with your fat loss. If you are after something where you don't have to calorie track, you don't have to, I mean, you'd have to measure out your food. I apologize for that. But you don't have to plan out meals each week. You don't have to think about what to go get from the supermarket each week. And you don't have to worry about if you're eating the right amount of calories, or if you're eating too much, or if you're eating the wrong foods. Because, drum roll, you can get your very own tailor-made, where's my mascara? Tailor-made meal plan on me for free. So basically, this is like what my clients get access to if they so wish. I give them the option when they sign up with me of how they want to like go about tracking their food, whether they want to do calorie tracking. Some people want to do calorie tracking, some people want to do portion control, some people want a meal plan. But I'm giving away your tailor-made meal plan. So it's not just anything generic. You can sign up for it and you can give me a little bit of insight into who you are, what you like, what foods you like to eat, how many meals a day you want to eat, what foods you hate, and I will tailor make it for you so that you have an entire week of meals planned out for you. All of the amounts you need for a portion, it will be designed so that you can expect to see around 1 to 2 pounds of fat loss a week, provided you stick to it. So if you want to get your hands on that, the link to sign up for it is in the description box below. And as I said, I can't believe I'm giving it away for free because it's a very, very good deal. I would charge good money for this. But yeah, need to film for Instagram. I need to carry on with my daily push-up challenge. I want to do some hula hooping later. I've been a bit bad with that. I've had not the greatest past couple of days. My life kind of took an unexpected turn of sorts. So I've kind of been out of my routine while I was just kind of putting myself back together, basically. I've also got something very, very exciting coming up, which should be starting next week. And I'm kind of like, it's gonna have quite a big impact on my sort of day-to-day routine, weekly routine. So I'm kind of also just like mentally preparing myself for that. Gonna be a busy old gal, I think. It's pretty much a done deal, but I don't like to share these things until it's like, it's in the bag completely. So I will talk more about that probably in the next video, and share a little bit about what's going on there. Also my throat, I don't know why, if I sound a bit croaky, it's been like this for a while now and I'm not ill. So I don't really know why I've got a croaky old voice. I'm not mad at it. I'm kind of like trying to hopefully lean into like huskiness rather than croakiness. But there we have it. I need to get a clothes wash going, so that's going to be a bit noisy for a bit. So I will see you when I'm having my breakfast and we'll talk more fat loss. we have got our breakfast ready, coming at you with my usual big bowl of oats. So I have got oats, protein powder, yogurt, berries, and some sugar-free syrup. Oh, and chia seeds for my omega-3s. For this fat loss, I have really honed in on making the most of volume foods, eating as big quantities as possible over like the nice things. Like back in the day, I would have had like a smaller amount of oats so I could have some Biscoff on it. And I'm like, no, we want to feel full this time around. Now, when it comes to fast fat loss, yeah, you could drop your calories right down. And this would work for a little while. As I said, if it's for more of a short-term thing, like you have a holiday coming up or a wedding or something, again, the best idea for you is to start earlier and give yourself some time to drop the fat in a reasonable way. But if you're really looking for fast fat loss, it just comes down to calories in versus calories out, which is probably something you've heard before, but it's the truth. To lose around a pound of fat a week, you want to be in a calorie deficit of 3,500 calories that week, which works out as 500 calories a day. This is a perfectly moderate deficit to go into and is something that I would recommend. But that gives you an idea of, if you were wanting to lose fat really fast, how much of a deficit you would need to put yourself in. You're looking at quite low calories, and this can put your body under a lot of stress, which can raise your cortisol, which is a nightmare if you're trying to lose fat. Your body can almost start working against you if you go too low calorie. As I said, for a few weeks, this could be a good option for you, but you've got to be in the mindset of being able to stick to it. The best diet is the one you can stick to. The reason I lost weight so quickly is because I showed up consistently to it. If you are slashing your calories way down and it is making you extremely hungry and wanting to binge or wanting to eat all the good foods, you're going to have such a difficult time sticking to that diet, and you may find that you start overeating. You cannot have any time off. If you're trying to lose fat fast, you've just got to go in. You can't be having cheat days because you'll end up eating all the calories back that you've potentially saved during the week. But it's not to say that it can't work for you. If you know you've got a really good relationship with your food already, you're not someone that is likely to binge or likely to reach for things when you get very hungry, you're okay with experiencing a lot of hunger and putting your body under a lot of stress, then it could be for you to drop your calories low. It's not something I would recommend, but it's an option. At the end of the day, it's your body, your choices. So long as you are being healthy and you're not keeping your calories low for a very, very long period of time, go for it. With caution, proceed with caution. But you really want to make sure your life is as stress-free as possible, which can be very difficult for most people. I don't know anyone who doesn't have a fair amount of stress in their life. As I said, when you drop your calories low, you're putting your body under quite a lot of stress. So if you already have a lot going on, that can just really stall fat loss. It can be counterproductive. So you may find you lose weight quicker by eating a little bit more. Calories aren't an exact science. Yes, you can work out your calorie needs and you can work out your deficit from that, which is what I would do with my clients, but we monitor it. We see what's working, what isn't. Sometimes the calories can come up a little bit. Like I said with myself, I took my calories down, it didn't work out. I thought I would lose more weight, it didn't work out that way. I brought them back up. It's working better for me. But for some people, we might set them a bit too high to start with, and then they do need to come down. So you can work with it. There's a little bit of flexibility there. It's not an exact science. Your body will utilize calories differently in different days. So at the end of the day, it is more of a trial and error approach, whatever approach you take. I'm gonna go eat this. I'm gonna go drink my coffee. Got a little bit of work to do, and I will catch up with you, and we're gonna talk about what foods to avoid if you wanna lose fat fast. It is turning into Christmas Day up in here. Did I just show everyone my address? Potentially. No, that's fine. So I did a little Amazon order the other day because I had, as I said, had a little bit of stuff go down. So I was like, I just really want to focus on getting my flat the way I want it now, because I moved in like 3 months? No, 3 months? 2 months. Just over 2 months ago. So I want to start just like really focusing on making it how I want to make it. So we've got loads of stuff showing up today. So far we've had the paint stuff. A little bit premature with that, but basically I want to paint some of the doors first. So I was like, I may as well buy this whole painting kit. But the rollers and everything, I need to strip some wallpaper before I can get on to that. But I have a little kit ready. Hopefully it's decent. I don't really know what I'm doing with it. And then with the doors, I also want to, before I paint them, I want to change some of the door handles. So we've got 2 sets of gold door handles that have shown up. The theme is very much sage green, dusty pink with gold accents. It's going to be my little own Barbie palace, basically. So hopefully I can figure out how, I don't even know how to separate these from each other right now. I'll be perfectly honest. So this should be interesting. Oh, the other thing, I'm gonna have to build it, and I just gonna have the brain space to build this, but I've ordered a towel like rail. So at the moment I've just got some like hooks in the bathroom, but it just means like my towel isn't drying particularly well like after I've showered. So I've ordered like a little towel rail so I can actually like flip it over, it can air out properly. But I need to build that. So that's something I need to figure out what I'm gonna do. But I honestly don't know where the day has gone. It's already 2. I should be eating by now. I was meant to have my food at 2 and then take Pip out after I've eaten, but I still need to cook it. So my lunch today is a chickpea omelette because, I don't eat animal products. So I'm going to try and chat while I make that. It's not going to look good. I'll be honest with you. I'm not good at the execution side, but it tastes very, very lovely. I have that with some pepper and tofu just to bump up the protein there. So the chickpea flour's got a decent bit of protein in, but not quite enough. So nice, relatively low calorie, high protein. Perfect for a little midday meal. Let's make it. Oh no. Yeah, I just knocked over a bag of sugar and luckily I don't think it went everywhere. Oh. So we're talking about foods to avoid if you want to lose fat fast. Now, there aren't any specific foods that are going to make you either gain fat or lose fat at a particular rate. It comes down to how much you are eating. It's always going to come back to that. However, with that said, there are foods that are going to help and there are foods that aren't going to be as beneficial to you. Now, I would like to point out the issue of carbohydrates because particularly women love to not eat them, love to think that they are going to make you gain weight or help you miraculously lose loads of weight. And here's the dirty secret about carbs. I'm going to mess up the maths, so apologize me. I don't have a head for numbers, but basically it's something like every gram of carbs, I definitely should have looked up these stats before I started this. For every gram of carbs, your body holds on to like 3 grams of water. Basically, you just retain a lot more water when you can. That's not good. That's a lot of turmeric. Oh, can I get some of that out? Oh my God, that's gonna not be great. Not off to a good start. Basically, carbs just make you retain water, which can cause a little bit of bloating and weigh heavier. And before you rush out and think, right, well, I am going to cut carbs out, it's not fat. You will lose. So whenever you start a diet, you will see an initial quite big drop in weight, and that will come down to a lot of water weight. One will be less overall food and bulk in your stomach because you're eating a lot less, but the other thing is you're probably going to be cutting down on your carbs quite a bit anyway. Even if you're not cutting them out, all of your food is coming down, so your carb restriction is going to be there a little bit, which is why we see that big drop on the scales straight away. It's not immediate fat loss. Again, if we go back to that thing of wanting to slim down quickly for a specific event and then it not really mattering, is that a word? Oh my God, I've lost the plot. Losing weight and then it doesn't really matter or not if you gain it back, then sure, cut out carbs from it because you will lose a little bit of water weight. So it really doesn't matter. If you want to cut out carbs, go for it, but it really isn't going to make much difference. For women, we run way better on carbs than we do fats. We actually metabolize carbs a lot better than men do. So the fact that women have been scared of carbs is actually quite funny because it should be the other way around. We will use more carbs and glycogen during training and don't tend to burn as much fat as men, whereas men will use more fat during their activity and don't tend to use glycogen quite as much. So they actually store more carbs than women do. Other thing that you may want to avoid if you're trying to lose fat fast is the more fun processed foods, which is probably quite obvious. But basically, again, those kind of foods can make you a little bit more bloated. If they've got higher sodium content, higher sugar content, that can all lead to a bit more bloating. So it can make you look a little bit fluffier, it can make you weigh a bit heavier, but again, it's not fat. It's just that bloaty weight. The other thing with those types of foods is they are more calorie dense for less volume. So basically you could eat not a lot of it and still feel hungry, but you've eaten a lot of calories. And so you could then end up overeating more easily. Whereas if you make your diet up of mostly whole foods, lots of fruits and vegetables, complex carbs, lean proteins, and healthy fats, you're going to get a lot more food for the calories. So it's easier to feel fuller, more satiated on more food, but less calories. So that's kind of like the basic ground rules. Sure, like you can enjoy the odd little bit of processed foods if you want to. And I often encourage that with clients because it keeps you sane. But you kind of want to limit that in a diet and just really focus on like the more whole food sides of things. Whisk, 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 whisk. And that's kind of it. As I said, there's no real foods that you have to completely rule out. And there's no foods that are going to make you actively gain fat. It will literally come down to the amount you are eating. And if you're eating too much of anything, you will gain weight. If you eat less than your body needs, you will lose weight. End of. Right, let's finish making this lunch. Treating myself to an afternoon of working from the sofa. I've got my little afternoon pick-me-up, which is a decaf coffee. The afternoons are always when I get like my sweet cravings or like just my want to snack. So when I'm trying to lose weight, I always like factor in some kind of drink, like low calorie drink or 0 calorie drink to help with that, keep me from the biscuit tin, all that kind of thing. The other thing I wanted to talk about with the idea of fast fat loss is bear in mind how you actually want to look. This coffee's actually too hot to hold. Just like me. If you lose fat very quickly, you will also lose a substantial amount of muscle along with that. When I bulk and cut, I do both in a slow, controlled way. I do a slow, lean bulk over around 6 months, only looking to put on about 4 to 5 kilos, because that way it minimizes the risk of me gaining a lot of fat. Then the other way around, when I cut, I don't want to cut too quickly, because if I drop my calories right down and I do loads of cardio and I try and burn fat as quick as possible, I'm also going to lose a hell of a lot of muscle. And it would almost make the reason for bulking and cutting pointless, because the idea is to gain minimal amount of fat and lose minimal amount of muscle to change the way your body looks, to recomposition your body so you look more toned, more lean. If you just lose weight and you don't weight train, or you lose fat so quickly you lose a lot of muscle as well, you'll end up just in a smaller body. And maybe that is what you want. If you're not bothered about your overall shape and looking toned, looking lean, you just want to be smaller, then go for it. But you will find you end up, and I hate the term, but you will end up with that skinny fat look. So your body shape looks the same. You still kind of have like that little bit of flab. It's just in a smaller package. But if you do actually want to transform the way your body looks and recomposition your body to look more muscular, look leaner, toned, and when I say muscular, I literally just mean defined and toned, I don't mean jacked, then you want to be careful with how quickly you do lose fat. Got to finish off the afternoon of work. I want to go through some of my notes from when I did all my training just to start refreshing my brain a little bit when I did all my PT training. And I want to do some hooping later, and then it'll be on to dinner, and then I've just got a lot of editing, a lot of editing. But I like to edit, so it's fun. I am so stinking tired. The day just completely got away from me. I didn't get to do any hooping because I decided to change the door handle on the living room door, which I was like, oh, that would be like a quick, I thought maybe 30 minutes tops. Definitely took me about an hour at least, just because I didn't really know what I was doing. So I didn't have time to do any hula hooping. It's way later than I kind of planned to have my dinner as well. And I'm just absolutely shattered. Like, I've been quite tired today anyway, but I'm absolutely shattered. So I'm kind of just ready to sit down and eat this. Felt like there was just so much more I wanted to get done this evening, and I just don't think that's going to happen now, which is annoying. But life is life, you know? Pretty embarrassed by the state of the door handle. So I did find that, like, I got the like turny door handles rather than like doorknob rather than a hand pushy handle. And I think on some of those you can like take the handle off, the knob bit off while you attach it to the door. Mine doesn't have that option, so trying to get the screws into the door was just almost impossible. So I've not done the best job. So yeah, I'm just plating up my dinner. I've got a veggie burger in the oven. I've got my stew that I made last night here that I'm going to stick in the microwave. And just to round out, to remind you of some top tips that if you do want to lose weight, you don't necessarily need to do it fast, and maybe fast isn't the best option for you. But what will guarantee you success is getting into a calorie deficit of around about 500 calories a day. That will set you up to lose at least a pound a week if you can stick to it consistently. And by only bringing it down by that much, you will be able to stick to it much easier than if you drop your calories way, way down. Make sure you're doing some movement. This is going to help again with that calorie deficit. It's not great to rely on cardio or walking or anything to put you into that calorie deficit because, to be honest, it doesn't burn that many extra calories. So it requires quite a lot of work to burn off calories. Video coming on that soon, by the way. But as I said, it's just an extra way to burn a few more calories to help with that deficit in some way, and also just get your body moving and grooving. It's good for your heart health. It's good for your mental health. So, you know, get out there and do a little daily walk when you're able to. And you don't have to hit a certain amount of steps or anything. It's just about increasing your current level of movement. And then finally, you gotta be weight training, man, because as I said before, unless you are happy with just being in a smaller body, then that is absolutely fine for you. But losing the fat and not having any muscle underneath isn't probably going to be giving you the look that you want, because I know most of you want to look lean and toned. The other thing is, by having more muscle on your body, you are able to burn more calories at rest. Because muscle requires a lot more energy to exist, you can eat more food and still lose weight. So basically, weight training is just like perfection. Obviously, it does burn calories as well, which is why we weight train. We love it. And you don't have to go in and lift crazy weights. Yes, you have to challenge your body, but it doesn't mean you have to go in and get massive and jacked and bulky if that's not the look you want to go for. You can just go in and lift a moderate amount of weight that is challenging for you, that is going to challenge your muscles to grow so that you can look toned. If you want to take away the headache of having to work out your calories, track everything, come up with meals each week, grab your free bespoke tailor-made meal plan that I'm going to do just for you because I'm just that nice. Again, the link is in the description. Thank you so much for watching. I am going to eat all this food. It's going to be delicious. Chill out, and I will catch you in the next one.